Hi class, in this video I am going to go over the syllabus for the spring 2020 semester. When you open the Canvas course, you will find the syllabus in our home page. So if you scroll down, you will find the syllabus right here. Now, you have two options. One is to go ahead and preview the syllabus. So if you click on the magnifying glass, you will go ahead and receive a file preview. And here you can, of course, view the syllabus without actually downloading it. However, if you prefer to download and print out the syllabus, then go ahead and click on Syllabus and it will go ahead and download as a Word document. So let's take a look at the syllabus. I do want to go over the syllabus in detail because you are going to have a syllabus quiz, but also because I want you to get to know the course and also understand what the course is about, what the policies are, when the assignments are due, things like that. That way you know what you're getting into, I guess we could say, right? Okay, so the first thing that you want to obviously look at is the course number, the CRN number, and the section number. And of course, these are important just to make sure that, you know, everything is correct in your records and things like that. Also, of course, this class is 3 credits, and most importantly, it meets completely online, so there are no actual class meetings. However, if you do want to meet in person, you can always come visit me during my office hours. So I actually live in the El Paso area, so I am not in Las Cruces a lot. However, I do teach a class on Tuesdays at the Espina campus, so I will be in Las Cruces at the Espina campus on Tuesdays. So here you can go ahead and look at my office hours. On Mondays, I will be at the Summer Park campus from 1:15 to 2:45. Wednesdays, I'm at the Gadsden campus from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And Tuesdays, I am at the Espina campus from 11 to 1. I do have classes that start after my office hours, so make sure that if you do want to visit me during my office hours, you either let me know or you show up within a reasonable time frame. Like for example, if you show up at 12:59, I have a class that starts at 1, so I probably won't be in my office or I probably won't be able to talk to you for a long time. So just make sure that you keep that in mind that I do have classes right after my office hours. For example, on Mondays, I have to drive to Gadsden for my class at Gadsden that starts at 3:30. So obviously don't show up at 2:44 and expect me to stay after. If you do want to make an appointment, if these office hours do not work for you, I will gladly try to schedule something that works for the both of us. However, I realize that some of you do not live in Las Cruces or in El Paso, or you just don't live in the area. So if you prefer to speak to me kind of in person, you can go ahead and call my office phone number. Now, obviously, I'm only in my office on Tuesdays, but please keep in mind that when you call, if you leave a voicemail, that voicemail gets emailed to me so I can go ahead and listen to it from wherever I'm in or at, and I can go ahead and call you back. However, the only way that voicemail gets emailed to me is if you actually leave a voicemail. My office phone has a caller ID, but it does not say a person's name, it just has the number. So if you don't leave a voicemail, I have no clue who called or the reason or anything like that. So if you do call, please make sure that you leave a voicemail. And like I said, I've had students who call me on Sundays and I call them back. So feel free to call whenever you have a question. Like I said, the software emails me the voicemail and then I can go ahead and call you back. Of course, the easiest way to communicate and the most convenient and the quickest possibly is through email. So you can go ahead and email me at natalie@nmsu.edu, or you can go ahead and email me through Canvas. I check those pretty regularly. But like I said, sometimes we do need to talk or you need some clarification on something. So feel free to meet with me or feel free to call me. All of those would work. Here we have a brief course description. Now, just to give you a little bit overview about the course, this course is called the Border Experience, and that's the theme of this course, but one of the things that one of the purposes of the course is to show what the border is really like. I feel like a lot of times the media, literature, art, and society, they tend to portray the border in a certain light. Sometimes it's negative, sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's idealized. But as somebody who was born and raised on the border, um, I have a deep appreciation for it. So I kind of designed this course to kind of show how special the border is, but also to show that it's a very complex place and there's a lot of conflict within the border itself too, within its residents. Um, Even though the border kind of seems to be a place of unity, there's also underlying division sometimes. So with that in mind, it's important to be accepting of different viewpoints. So just keep in mind that not everybody's going to share your same views. So please be respectful of that. Make sure that you do not say anything that's offensive, racist, discriminatory, or anything like that. Because obviously that won't be tolerated and that will result in you not being able to participate in the course. Also, keep in mind that a lot of the readings, like I said, do actually focus on the US-Mexico border. So obviously some of these are written from a minority perspective, or sometimes this might seem anti-American, or it might seem as if they're not really being oppressed or they're being oppressed by their own actions. However, just keep in mind that these are people detailing their own experience. So even if you do not agree with it, it is their experience, and that's what we're looking at, their experience. Of course, you are welcome to have an opinion and you're welcome to say how you feel, but like I said, just make sure you do so in a respectful and academic manner. So let's go ahead and move on. Obviously, for this course, all of you should have passed English 111 with a C or better. Another important thing to note is that for this course, you do not need a textbook. All of the reading materials are available online. So they are linked in each module. So let's say for week 1, we're supposed to read a certain file. You just go to that module and you'll find it there. So I actually suggest that you go to the modules instead of going to files, because obviously that makes it harder to find. And also, some readings are links. So if you go to files, you're not going to find those links there. So again, it's better to just use the modules to navigate the course and to access the readings. Here we have the program student learning outcomes, so you can go ahead and take a look at that. Again, the methods of instruction are completely online, so make sure that you have adequate internet, computer, things like that. So in this class, we're mostly going to be doing essays and other forms of persuasive and analytical writing. Here we have the assignment. So obviously participation is worth 15 points. And the way that participation is measured is obviously if you participate in the discussions. And I'll get to that a little bit later. We also have one introduction discussion post, which is worth 10 points, 10 reader responses, 5 discussion questions, quizzes that are worth 40 points. The first essay will be a profile essay that's worth 50. Essay 2 will be an editorial. And then, of course, we have the final research paper, which will consist of an annotated bibliography that's worth 50 points. And the final research paper itself is worth 150 points. So I provide a little bit of a description for each assignment. So the reader responses, they will typically be due weekly. There are weeks when we're not going to have a reader response. So these should be 1 to 1.5 page double spaced, 12-point font, Times New Roman. And keep in mind that reader responses are going to respond to one of the prompts I post for that assignment. So you only have to respond to one prompt, and that your response should be 1 to 1.5 page double spaced. The purpose of these assignments is to be focused and concise. So basically, your response should be focused, and whatever you write in that 1 page, 1.5 page should matter and should be important. I've had people in the past who write like 3 to 4 pages, and that's a lot. So I had to come up with this rule that responses that exceed the page limit by more than 2 pages will be deducted points. And the reason for that is because writing shorter pieces of writing is actually harder because everything matters. When you have to write something long, like 5 pages, you can add a lot of fluff. But when somebody asks you to write only 1 page, everything you put in that 1 page matters and is important. So with that in mind, in your reader response, don't summarize. Don't tell me what the reading was about. Just go ahead and start responding to the prompt question. That's what you want to go ahead and do. Reader responses will be due on Sundays, so make sure you remember that. However, this first week, since we're starting on a Wednesday, we do have a quiz and a discussion question the quiz is going to be due on Sunday, I believe, and then the discussion question is going to be due until January 29th. And that's only going to be for this week because we started off on a Wednesday, but after the first week, everything else will go back to its regular schedule. So we will have reader responses due on Sundays. Then, of course, discussion questions will be due on Thursdays and Saturdays, and then quizzes will be due on Saturdays as well. So here we have some information about Essay 1 and Essay 2. Essay 1 is going to be a profile essay that you write about a significant place in the El Paso area. So you're actually going to describe a place in great sensory detail and showcase its significance to the border area. And again, I have the assignment on Canvas, and you can kind of get an idea of what it's about and what places you can pick. If you don't live in the area, you can still pick a place, but you will have to rely on research instead of actually visiting the place. Essay 2, you're going to write an editorial about a border issue. So that editorial can actually be developed into your research paper. So you can actually choose that same topic for your research paper. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so now we come to the discussion questions. For the discussion questions, again, we only have 5, but you have to reply to 2 classmates, so they are each worth 20 points. By that I mean that each discussion question is worth 20 points. So basically, I will post a discussion question and you have to reply to that question by Thursday. Now, obviously, we don't have a discussion post every single week, so there are times where you can get ahead and answer your post way before the week that it's due. But in any case, the first discussion post should be submitted by Thursday. So let's take, for example, the discussion is due on Saturday. You have to post it by the Thursday of the week it's due. And like I just said, sometimes we don't have a discussion post every week, so there are opportunities for you to get ahead if you want to. So after you've posted your first discussion post by Thursday, you have to respond to 2 more people, 2 different classmates by Saturday. And of course, you can do that on Thursday, you can do that on Friday, you can do that on Saturday. It's up to you as long as you've responded to the original question by Thursday. Now, something else to keep in mind is that your response should be well thought out. And also, you want to keep in mind that if you do not post your first discussion post by Thursday, this will affect your participation grade, okay? So just keep that in mind, that if you wait till Saturday and you post both of your discussion posts at 11:58, 1 minute before it's due, that will affect your participation grade because you technically have not been participating throughout the week. Now, something else to keep in mind is that the reason why I do this is because there are times when I have like 2 or 3 students that post their discussion post to the original question, and then nobody else posts anything till Saturday. That means that people can't finish their discussion posts because there's nobody else to reply to. So to avoid that, your first post should be posted by Thursday, and your second and third post should be posted by Saturday. So just keep in mind that the first one, in order to receive full credit, your first post should be responding to the original question that I posted, and then after that you have to reply to 2 classmates. Now also keep in mind that to receive full credit, it should be well thought out. So in order to receive the full 20 points, it should be well thought out. It should actually answer the question, and it should be something that adds to the conversation. And of course, it should use academic language, proper punctuation, proper grammar, because we are in an academic setting. And of course, you should also reply to 2 other classmates as well. Now, I do have a rubric for each discussion post. Uh, it's the same rubric, but each discussion post has the rubric attached so you could see what I am looking for. And again, it's important to point out that in the discussions, you might not agree with people. It's okay to say that you don't agree with them and tell them why. But again, just be respectful. We don't want to be mean or hateful or promote any hateful rhetoric or, think that we're right and they're wrong. This is a place of learning, so we have to have intelligent discussions about this. If there is an issue where I find your discussion posts um, breaking NMSU's policy, like if you're promoting hateful speech or hateful rhetoric, or you're being offensive to women or to men, or you're making threats, of course I have to report you and you won't be able to continue posting on the discussion thread. So just please keep that in mind. Quizzes will be over the readings, and the quizzes are listed in the syllabus. So they are short quizzes, and make sure that you read before you take the quiz, because the quizzes are timed and you can only take the quizzes once. Quizzes are due on Saturdays, and I also want to point out that please do not take quizzes on your phone or on Internet Explorer, because I've had a lot of students who take the quizzes on the phone and the quiz shows up as blank. It says that no questions were answered. So please make sure that you don't press start unless you're ready to actually start. Last semester, I had issues with students who started the quiz early and then they didn't answer any questions, or students whose kids pressed the button and they weren't ready to start the quiz. So just keep in mind that you can only take the quiz once, okay? And they are due Saturdays. So please read before you take the quiz and make sure that you're prepared for the quiz. Okay, so moving on to the research paper. The research paper, like I said, will be an argumentative research paper about a major issue impacting the U.S.-Mexico border. You obviously can pick whatever topic you'd like. Like I said earlier, you can also develop your editorial topic into the research paper topic as well. And the research paper process is going to involve 3 steps. The first one is that you create a topic proposal. Then you're going to do an annotated bibliography, and then of course you're going to write the research paper. And all of this is due towards the end of the class, of the semester, so of course I will provide instructions and I will go ahead and provide more details. The plagiarism notice, of course, make sure that all work is your own. NMSU is currently using Turnitin software, which means that all major essays will be submitted via Turnitin. And basically what that does is it has a originality score. So it tells you what percentage of your paper is plagiarized. I do have a video on Canvas that tells you how to kind of navigate it so you can kind of see how it works. Of course, if you don't plagiarize, you have nothing to worry about because your score will show up as 0 or 2% or something like that. But basically what Turnitin is it looks up online all the papers, all the sources, and it tells you if your writing matches that. So sometimes your score might be like 3% because it shows that you quoted from that article. That's fine. But if it's like 60% or 70%, then obviously there are changes that need to be made. And you can actually submit this before, and then you can go ahead and make any changes if you need to, and then you can resubmit it. So as long as the assignment is open, you can keep resubmitting to check your plagiarism score. Here we have the grading policy. And of course, classroom management is something important that we have to cover. So this is an online class, which means that the entire course communication and submission of assignments will be conducted through Canvas. So, like I said, make sure you have reliable internet. If you don't have internet at home, we do have multiple computer labs at all of our campuses, so you can go ahead and visit there. But please make sure that you do not think that not having internet or computer malfunctions are acceptable and will serve as excuses. Unfortunately, that is not something that DACC considers a valid excuse for an absence or for missing work. So if you're if you don't have internet or your computer broke or something like that, please let me know way ahead of time. Don't let me know like 2 minutes before your assignment is due. So I think that's why it's important to kind of get started on your assignments a few days before as opposed to like the night of, because if there's any issues that arise, you can contact me and we can kind of try to figure out a way so that you can fix it. Also, on the actual course, Canvas course, I have phone numbers and links to Canvas support. So if you do have an issue with Canvas, you can go ahead and contact them. But like I said, anything computer malfunction, Wi-Fi, or internet connection issues or Canvas issues, those are not considered valid excuses for missing work or deadlines or anything like that. So keep that in mind as you go through the class. And like I said, if anything arises, whether it be technical or personal issues, please contact me as soon as possible so that we can kind of try to figure something out. I've had students who go through something in their lives, but they don't contact me until 3 months later. If you contact me before, maybe we can try to make arrangements where you email me the work or we meet or something like that. But just let me know soon. That way we don't go 3 months and all this missed work accumulated. It's better to tackle those issues early on so that we can kind of figure out a way to, we can kind of figure out adjustments so that you don't end up failing the course. Something else that's important is that I do not accept late work, so please make sure that you do not submit anything late. The assignments do close at 11:59 p.m. So obviously once that assignment closes, it's closed forever and I can't open it. Discussions cannot be made up at all. Even if you have a valid excuse, they can't be made up because they're submitted in a public forum. If at best, if you have some sort of emergency or anything like that, I can give you partial credit, but you won't get full credit for the discussion post. However, I do accept late work at my own discretion. So if you email me and something happened, you're having some sort of personal problem, or, you know, you let me know ahead of time that you're not going to be able to submit something on time, we can make arrangements and you can submit it later. But like I said, don't just email me things or don't just email me late assignments and expect me to accept it. Obviously, there has to be an explanation for it. But just make sure that you turn in your work on time. And I think this is actually helpful for the student because this means that you don't fall behind. And like I mentioned before, please make sure that you are respectful to all your classmates. And I also mentioned this before, this class, some of the readings utilize Spanish terms. So I do try to provide translations of everything. So most of the readings we have, there's a translation if they use a Spanish word here or there. But, if you're having trouble understanding some of it, consider consulting a Spanish-English dictionary that's available for free online. Or you can just go ahead and email me and I can go ahead and clarify any of the Spanish terms or anything like that. So here we have the important dates, and you can go ahead and take a look at those yourself. Obviously, you want to pay special attention to the last day to withdraw, which is March 19th, and the last day to withdraw from the university, which is May 8th. And we don't have any holidays except for spring break and spring holiday. So please keep that in mind. So here we have the tentative schedule. As you can see, it's divided up by weeks. So I have the dates, and then I have whatever the reading is for that week, and then the actual assignments that are due for this week. So that's how you can go ahead and look at our schedule. So thank you for listening to this explanation of the syllabus. I know it was rather long, but I do try to go through everything in detail just so that you know what the course is about and hopefully you don't have any questions and everything is clear. However, if you do have any questions, please let me know. I will gladly answer any questions you have, or I will gladly meet with you if you want to discuss anything. So welcome to the course. I look forward to working with you.